No.
So, zero interest. I'm starting to feel like the title of this show is so zero interest. Anyway, RWBY season 4 episode 11. What was this one called?
It was called Taking Control.
Also, Zero's dark in this episode because, funny story, it's like 1:30 in the morning where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's like 5:30 where Zero is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's some daylight.
Yeah. Alright,
Anyway.
So episode 11, Taking Control. We start with Cinder. She's trying to do Kung Fu Darkness Fire stuff, and she's tired. I don't know how long she's been doing it, but she seems pretty ragged from all the...
It almost seems like cheating that they just get to practice on Grimm. Like,
Yeah.
The Huntsmen and Huntresses would just kill for this sort of practice. Like...
It's like they've got the hyperbolic time chamber and they're not sharing.
Which, in fairness, is pretty much what happened in Dragon Ball. Anyway, yeah, she's practicing on Beowulf's and possibly Ursa, or was it the gorilla? It was only on screen for like a split second, but you know.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I think that was the gorilla one from the preview for season 4, where they introduced the new animation style. It's just a giant gorilla, and it kicks Ruby's ass for like most of the fight. It's pretty cool.
And so we have good old Salem being like, "Hey, fight good, scrub. Thought you wanted power, scrub. Get good." And Cinder's all like, all whispery and can't really say anything. So
also, want to remind everyone that that's still Jessica Negri doing that shit. So I want to give her credit for actually just being there, just to do all season. Credit where it's due. That's dedication to the role.
Then Tyrion comes in, and he's still best voice acted and animated character in the show. Just
first impression wasn't great. It's just he's a Joker knockoff. Great, but no, so much better than that.
He's like, did I managed to poison Crow? Did I impress? And she's like, disappointment.
She says, I think it's the last eye is blinded or something along the lines.
Yeah, the last eye is blinded, and it's just like, I'm disappointed in you.
So
and
it's ambiguous. We're going to get to that. It's ambiguous what that means, and it's intentionally so. But it's like, it feels like she's saying, "Oh, Crow's dead. That's a good thing," but she's still like, "You fucked up, you shit."
Because Crow wasn't his goal in the first place.
True.
It's like, well, still screwed up.
He takes it poorly.
Yeah, he starts crying and shaking, and he goes and Grimm comes and sneaks up on him, and he just whacks it away with his tail and proceeds to go to town it. His screaming and like crying turning into laughter and just madness, and it's an incredibly scary and powerful scene. Great voice acting.
I commented during the thing that he must have actually literally been frothing at the mouth in the booth doing that, because holy shit, was that selling it.
You can't have a character like this without voice acting like that. That's just how it is. You try to like, oh, we're going to do the Joker. We're going to do somebody who's a character who's actually like insane. You need a voice actor who has a great range and is able to just shift from crying to laughter in such a manic way like that.
Not necessarily needing a great range, but just being able to absolutely throw themselves into it.
Yeah.
Like, it's entirely possible that every other voice acting role that he's done sounds like has a similar voice to this.
Yeah.
But he's willing to just give it his all into the performance, and that's amazing. So, credit to that guy whose name I don't know.
Yeah,
he's done some other
great.
anime stuff, and that's about
He terrifies Cinder with his voice acting. And crazy stabby stab. And she's like, oh no.
Yeah, the whole stabbing thing is a little weird because he's stabbing like it's a punch dagger, but it's not. It's like claws on the sides. That's not how you use that weapon. You don't punch with it, you swing.
Well, you can go like,
yeah,
I guess
he's straight up just going. Doesn't really work like that, but whatever.
Yeah, but he doesn't care.
In fairness, yeah, that's a good point.
So then we go over to Yang, and Yang is like, she painted her arm black and yellow, and she's like, yeah. And so she's going to her motorcycle, and her dad's like, shows up, and he's like, I wanted to have more of a goodbye than just a letter. So Yang tried to do the whole leave a letter and disappear
a little bit bitter
thing.
Understandably.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I know Crow most likely told you where your mom is. And you and I both read the letter that says where RWBY is. So where are you going to go? And then she just...
if you want to go after your mom, I'm not going to stop you anymore. I have before. I won't anymore. So what are you going to do? And the response is...
Yeah, facial expression of determination. Now,
next we have Weiss, I think.
I'm just thinking, like, Yang, I think, like, on the one hand, her going after her mom would be interesting, but I get the feeling she's going to go for RWBY.
I don't know, but I'm assuming she would go to the place that matters more to her at the moment, because she doesn't know that RWBY's okay, and her mum's fine. She can go after her mum at any point.
Yeah.
RWBY would be the priority, is my assumption.
Not to mention the last time she saw RWBY, it was kind of a sour note in their relationship where RWBY actually needed help from her and she wasn't able to give it.
I'm also a little bit about that because that made me cry.
So I think Yang might try to go after RWBY first to help her out.
Incidentally, that made me cry while editing it, just to be clear. That, even watching it in 20-second clips is enough to get my fucking eyes leaking. God damn it. I hate that episode so much.
So, he's very emotional about his RWBY characters.
I'm emotional about any show, usually. It's very easy to get me weepy.
Dude, for me, it's always the music that does it. When it's with a good scene, it's always the music. So we move on to Weiss, and Weiss is trying to sneak out with Seven Dwarf Man.
Klein.
Seven Dwarf Man. No, Seven Dwarf Man. 7 and 1. By your powers combined. Seven Dwarf Man. And she's following him out. And
we realized how he's actually Seven Dwarf Man, because he's actually kind of short. He's like 4 foot tall. Because Weiss is something like 5 or something, probably. She's not a tall person at all.
She overhears conversation between Ironwood and her father.
Yeah,
we're gonna be.
Klein gets called away by Whitley, and he tells her to go to first floor library, or the first floor of the library, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And she overhears Ironwood talking about, hey, winter's in Haven, and stuff's going down there, and we need to find out what the hell the deal is.
And they're going to be closing the borders soon, like next week.
Yep. So Ironwood is basically turning Atlas into a military dictatorship.
Yeah.
Which is not unexpected.
And only if Ozpin had listened to me.
Fucking Muppet. Like, he was literally proven wrong directly in the battle for Beacon when the robots were turned against him. Yeah, you wanted to send the military in. Look how that fucking turned out, you schmuck.
If Ironwood had not sent the military in, and if he had listened to Ozpin, it would have been a lot easier to handle.
Yeah. Basically, all Ironwood did was put more enemy combatants on the field.
He just threw a ton of oil into the fire. So...
you fucking fuck puppet, Jesus.
You're just getting worse and worse puppets, aren't you?
Yeah.
Started with Muppet. Alright, so she decides to lock the door with gravity because she's right outside, and Ironwood's cool entrance is ruined.
Cool exit is just completely ruined.
Cool exit, yeah.
Off. You better be on my good side.
Your door's locked.
Yeah, so don't cross me.
So she runs off. She gets to the library. Klein's like, alright, you got this, girl. And he has a secret entrance out. She leaves. Has a little heartwarming touching moment of, Klein, you're my real family. A bad joke we're watching about, I bet you probably gonna end up being her father or something. Her mom had something with the help. I'm like, oh no. Why would you do that? Why do you say that?
I was very joking, and he started taking it seriously because we pointed out how short both of them are. So your audio just cut out for a second and then came back super deep for that whole thing. So
great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You're base zero again. You're in
Base
my
and Zero
local rage, motherfucker.
Base and Zero are both Mega Man characters.
Okay.
Alright, so cut over to Blakey Blake and Son. And Blake's all sad. She's like, this is why I left, because people get hurt, and I don't want that, and this always happens to people around me. And you know how...
I hate this character motivation. I hate it. Anyway, you were saying.
Like, this character motivation is understandable, I guess, because it is a sort of a, you're not seeing things from an outside point of view. You're seeing things from, it all has to be connected to me because there's no other explanation. Everybody will just get hurt. I mean, Crow drinks to deal with this same situation.
Kind of, but it's also I am the center of the universe and everything happens because of me kind of point of view, and that pisses me off.
There's a self-centeredness to it. And Son calls her out on that.
Yes, thank you, Son. This is why I like you.
And he has a very nice conversation with her about it.
Yeah.
About
you don't get to dictate other people's choices.
Yeah.
If we want to fight for you, we'll fucking fight for you. You don't really get a say in the matter.
Do you remember how we had last episode? We had Jean give a little pick-me-up speech to RWBY. Mm-hmm. This is a much better example of a pick-me-up speech. I feel like
it's half a pick-me-up speech and half a reason you suck speech.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's great.
It's great because it was really fucking needed. I was so sick of Blake for like the entire show's run. She's not a character I like. Like, I mean, for the entire time we've been doing this, you've been praising her character arc and everything and saying, hey, this is the most developed and interesting thing, and I'm like,
I didn't say she was the most developed and interesting.
Yeah,
I never said she was the most developed and interesting. I just said, oh, well, I like where this is going because, it can go somewhere. But my favorite character, still freaking Penny. Gosh darn it.
Cool.
I
don't even imagine what she's going through now because she was still there and, retrievable and repairable, probably. Which means she's now probably back in Atlas hands. That just became a military dictatorship.
Yeah.
I don't see that turning out very well.
Honestly, if I were to, like, I'm kind of going to go off topic just a little bit here, but of the main four right now, just throughout this entirety of the season, I haven't really felt like Ruby's really done much or gone anywhere character-wise. I mean, she's gone sadder, but it's not really gone full circle, I think, yet for her.
Yeah, fortunately, this season hasn't been about her in that section of the story. It's been about Jean.
Yang's had some weird spots in her thing, but I've ultimately started to like where it's turning out. Weiss, I like Weiss. She's always been, in my opinion, one of the better developed characters.
It was nice to see Atlas and that whole thing.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
The Whitley stuff was kind of, I don't know. I don't really like him, and I guess that's the point, but I feel like they used him too much at some points.
It almost feels unnecessary that his character's there, but I guess they needed to give Papa Jacques a third option. Yeah.
Rather than Winter or her, both of who, want to be, hate him. And Blake, on the other hand, like, she is a character that, like, I haven't really been all, like, super fanboy over any of the main four this season. I don't think. I've liked, we're seeing more of Crow. Sun is still there and he's still a fun character to work with. Ren, even. Ren and Nora have gotten a lot of play.
Yeah.
So, Blake is a character that you think, like, you would have thought that she'd have already gone through this particular arc.
It literally feels like we're treading the same ground over again.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
we have treaded this ground before. This was the season 1 arc.
Yeah, but they tried to, I guess...
In fact, this was the season 1 arc and the season 2 arc.
Yeah. But this time she had Sun to say, stop it. Seriously, stop it. No, stop it.
I really hope that speech takes this time. Good God.
So, the thing I've been most interested about Blake's arc is seeing Menagerie and seeing more of the White Fang.
That's true.
It's not been so much about, she's running away again. Again.
Yeah. It was nice to see, like, the White Fang's history. Like, you get to meet its previous leader, which was fun, even though a bit contrived. You get to see... No, you don't. I was going to say you get to see the faction that is not aligned with Adam, but that's wrong.
You really don't.
All of them were aligned with Adam.
We got to see more of her character, as in why she left home, what her relationship with her parents became, a little bit of this Ilya person, even though we don't know their exact relationship, the exact nature of it, rather. So there's definitely stuff here for Blake's arc.
Yep.
Again, so carrying on to what we're getting close to the finale, so we're getting a little bit more retrospective as we go further.
A little bit, yeah.
The door falls in, and Blake's mom was the whole thing.
Needs some renovations, because that wall has broken twice now. Like, at some point you have to wonder, is this thing, like, safe to live in? Because,
I just noticed, I feel like the whole thing with Blake's character is black cat means bad luck.
That's not good. That's not Interesting.
It's not unless it's Crow, where it actually is bad luck.
Yeah, that was an interesting direction to take with it. Just, yeah.
No, everything might actually be my fault.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is.
I wonder whether that might have been a thing that they planned for her. Like, it honestly could have. It makes sense for that to actually have been her semblance. A black cat crosses someone's path, and they experience bad luck.
Yeah.
That actually almost makes more sense than Crow.
Crows are supposed to be superstitious symbols too, I guess.
It's an ill omen. It's a death omen, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Not bad luck. Anyway.
But, yeah. Anyways, enough with that.
The wolf falls
yeah.
And
it's like, yeah, you were right about the White Fang. And it's like, okay, what are we going to do? We going to take out the White Fang? No, we're going to take them back, says Blake.
Camera shakes. You were emphatic about that. I'm not going to hit my disc. I would knock my camera off of its very precarious perch if I was to do that.
But, yeah, Blake is finally stepping up, I feel like, is the direction they're going for.
Yeah, which is nice. It's nice that she's actually proactively doing something rather than running away.
Because if it ends up being, okay, we're done with the running away 4-season thing, we're going forward now, I think they can do a lot more with her character.
Yep.
And make her, because the thing is, you want to make each of the 4 characters distinctive from one another. And I feel like her moving forward is, well, it's similar to, like, Yang trying to move forward.
Yep.
It's not the same. And Weiss is just running away from her family again.
Well, in fairness, this entire season has been all the characters trying to move forward. Weiss is trying to move forward away from her family into doing the things that she actually wants to do, her own desired purpose. Blake needs to move forward from being the runaway and actually do something to, she said in season 2, like, okay, how do you want to actually promote social change? And she's like, I don't know. Now she's actually going to do something about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yang needed to move forward for obvious reasons. RWBY is a bit more shaky.
Jean's moving forward, though.
Yeah. Like I say, her sections were more about Jean than they were about RWBY.
I feel like they're setting up for a bigger RWBY arc.
I hope so, because I'm kind of sick of Jean stealing the spotlight at this point.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Because there's a brief mention of, Pyrrha was close to you too in, like, the last episode.
Was she, though? Did they actually spend a lot of time together?
It's like, well, he's like, you lost Pyrrha too. And then I'm like, well, it's just not the same. If Crow were to die, then you'd have something to, but...
Yeah, I mean, as far as I could tell, RWBY and Pyrrha were friends by association because she was friends with Jean.
Yeah. They didn't really interact much.
No.
RWBY and Nora interacted much more than RWBY and Pyrrha.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
So... I don't know. I guess the only way to fix that is to have Jean die now and have that affect RWBY.
Anyway,
No, just wait. Next season, Jean's gonna awaken to a semblance, and then it'll be the Jean show.
Yeah. I wish I didn't actually believe that, but it's entirely possible.
So we move on from this.
We go back to Kakuri, and Ren and Nora are running through the streets, the destroyed streets, and they catch up to Ruby and John, who are
And
surprisingly oblivious.
There's a nice moment where as soon as Red sees that Ruby and John are still okay, he smiles.
Yeah.
It's great. He's like, oh, yes, they're fine. Thank you. Thank you. And
they're like,
hey,
did you hear that noise? And they're strangely oblivious to the giant Grim that's, like, not that far away from them.
And then we
like people, to be clear, people in the comments after watching this episode were like, is it invisible? Because it was framed so weirdly that it seemed like you should be able to see it by now.
Mm-hmm.
Strange.
So the Grim shows up, and it is an extremely coolly designed Grim. Like, seriously. This is probably the coolest design for a Grim I've seen yet. Because you got we haven't seen the full thing yet, but just the face and the mask, and the whole distorted, because it's a human-like face. Yeah. On the top, with horns coming out of it, and like all sorts of weapons and stuff sticking out of its back. Yep. Like this looks like a Dark Souls style boss.
Well, in fairness, now that we've seen it, I can actually reveal what it is. It is what's called a Nucklavi. Which, if memory serves, I think it's Celtic, Celtic myth, and it's basically a horse and rider fused together. It's a demon that's just that, essentially.
That's what I was thinking when I first saw it, because I was like, it's one Grim, and then I was like, wait, no, it's two. Wait, no, it's one. It's two. No, it's one.
Your browsing is doing things to the camera.
Look, strobing lights. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By doing things to the camera, I meant screwing up your audio and messing with the connection. So. Okay.
Well, that's good. So yeah, it ends there. We talked a lot about this particular episode, but
a lot to talk about. It was wrapping up like 3 different arcs at once. So.
Everything's getting set up for big finale. Yeah.
There's literally nothing else for Weiss, Yang, or Blake to do, so the entire finale is going to be about Team Ranger.
Team Power Ranger.
There's a red one, a yellow one, a pink one, and a green one. Those are Power Ranger colors, right?
Yeah. The green one's always the coolest, though.
Is he? That's Ren.
Well, Ren's he's swinging the spotlight.
He's pretty cool. He's not bad.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much this episode. We're going to do the finale now, and you'll see what we think of that in a few days. So, bye, everybody.
Bye.